I've got two problems. I tried to figure out what we did different with Ozz 9 years, 9 years? Him 7 years. And the two things that we did, first of all, I promised to shave his logo into the side of my head,
That's
which
true.
I'll be doing this week. And his bus driver this morning made me do a shot of vodka.
That was yesterday morning.
Oh, yeah, yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning.
And so now I really don't like it that much, but I did it and we won.
Yeah.
You got to keep
So
going.
Yeah.
there's something
There you
here.
go.
Yeah, okay. Anyway.
Thanks. AJ over here, Holly Kane, FoxSports.com. This was a fantastic race to watch by all accounts. And it got really interesting with you and Alan McNish. It looked like a little bit of a NASCAR racing out there. If you could just speak about that. And the second part of my question is, it really feels like you've got a swagger going right now. I mean, you're upbeat, you're happy. You always were, but it feels like
Believe
if
me,
you could
they'll
just...
knock me back down when I get to Speed Weeks. Don't worry about that. No, honestly, that's probably the most fun 3 hours of racing that I've ever had. I mean, part of it's because we won. So if we would have lost it, it sucked. But ultimately, it was just flat out. And, Mike did a good job. He changed the driver lineup, said I was going to be in the car last and gave me, 7-8 hours to rest while Ozz and Justin had to do all the work in the middle of the night into the morning. So, I knew those last 3 hours I was going to have to go flat out because that 8 car, the 01 at that point were really fast. And just, McNish, I look at, he's one of the best sports car drivers ever. I mean, obviously he's got all the accolades when it comes to Daytona, to Le Mans, to everything that he's done. And that was fun. I was trying to give Shank a heart attack on the timing stand a little bit, but that was just fun. I mean, it was a good time out there. And, then when Dial got in the car, he's one of the best in these Grand-Am cars and these Daytona prototypes right now. So I knew that every lap I had to just drive my butt off every single lap. And I honestly feel like, and I never try to give myself a ton of credit, but I feel like that's some of the best 3 hours of driving I've ever done in my life. Just every lap, whether it was being aggressive, whether it was trying to dodge GT traffic, I felt like that might be some of the best 3 hours of driving I've ever had in my life.
Hey, Jay, it's Paul Kaminsky, CBS News. I've got a couple quick ones for you. 50 years ago, you had a guy from California named Dan Gurney got to victory lane here. You coming from Los Gatos. Talk about bookending that for me. And the second part of that, were your ears open really wide in the last few minutes of that to hear every creak and groan of that car?
Yeah, that's, it's what makes this race so cool. Just, you look at the list of winners, and it's from the start of it to till now, 50 years. It's what makes this race so prestigious to see everybody that has come here, that has won, that has been a part of this. As everybody said that's been up here, I mean, so what makes this race so great now is you see just different drivers from different backgrounds. Friends of mine that I used to race against, guys that I watch on TV all the time, in Europe, across the country, across the world. And it's, to me, it's just, it's fun to walk up and down pit lane. Just not even driving, just as a pure fan of racing for me, just to walk up and down pit lane and see all the different drivers that are in this series and in this race, makes it fun for me. And, luckily there wasn't a lot of noise happening in the car, but there was sure a lot of car spinning out the last 20 laps. So, I hadn't won in 5 years, so I didn't really want a green-white checkered. So it was. I kept seeing guys spin. I'm like, all right, get him behind the wall, get him going again. Luckily, I pushed really hard. The guys did a good job on the pit stops, and I pushed really hard to kind of build up a gap, and then just try to take those last 10 laps and just kind of manage the gap.
Marshall Pruitt from Speed. Mike, you've mortgaged, sold, leveraged everything in the world the last couple months to try and make your Grand-Am team better and some new endeavors. Does this relieve a little bit of pressure for you for a day?
Well, I always feel like I have to prove myself in every step because I came from kind of nothing, more or less. But I've had great relations with people like Ozz and John Pew that have really taken our business to another level. Mark Patterson also was heavily involved in that early on. So was Paul Mears. These guys really came in and trusted that we could do a job and didn't go anywhere else to do it. And I feel like I always tried to over-deliver for them in every way I could. And sometimes it worked out and sometimes it didn't. But for the most part, I think I have a pretty good track record with doing what I'm saying I'm going to do. So I'm grateful, and I just thank John for sticking with me through some trying times, and in the world's economy in 2008. And John said, "I'm committed to doing this," and it kept me on the map.
I think we have two in the back.
Yeah, Dave Rodmore, NASCAR.com. AJ, can you kind of put this in a career perspective where this race fits? Against we seem to anticipate you may win a cup race this year, but where does this one fit in terms of your career achievements?
No pressure.
Yeah, none at all. No, I mean, this, for the last 5 years of when I went through and as Michael McDowell said, I mean, I think the Sprint Cup racing is the toughest in the world right now. I mean, it's so hard to win. And yeah, I look at this year as my best opportunity to go win a cup race, but that's easier said than done. So, right now I'm just going to take this for what it's worth, not think about anything for a couple days, and just enjoy it. I mean, right now it's the biggest win I've ever had because we've worked for 7 years to get to this point with Mike Shank, and we've been so close so many times that, it's funny. It's just the last 3 hours when I got in the car, it's just like, okay, we've been here before, and there's something's happened to take us out. So, right now to have Oswaldo, which was such a big part of developing me in my open wheel racing through Barber Dodge, and he did so much for me there. Justin Wilson, just as my teammate in Champ Car, just made me so much better than I could ever expect it to be because he pushed me every day to limits that I didn't think I could reach. And I put Justin up against anybody when it comes to pure just road course, street course driving when it comes to any car. And he was somebody that for a couple years just made my life hell, honestly, because he was so good. And, and John Pew, as Mike said, he's been a big part of this the last few years. And, he's worked so hard to not be, your typical, whatever you want to call it, gentleman driver or however you want to put it, but to be a pure race car driver. And he stepped up his game in 3 or 4 years that I've seen more than anybody. So to have all that together as a team, it's the biggest win for me that I've ever been a part of.
Michael Shank, Wolfgang Monzer from Germany. I'm here in the back.
Okay, yep.
Yep. I think later in the season or a couple of weeks, you are even more busy when you put on an additional IndyCar team.
Uh-huh.
Nevertheless, Allmendinger have now the 24-hour Rolex here. In the long-term future, maybe there's a possibility you will talk to the Riley guys to build your car to go to Le Mans and beat the European rivals.
Bill Riley has tried that several times, actually. I'm pretty content doing what I'm doing here. I love this kind of racing here. I feel like I can win almost every weekend we go, which I love. I don't have to compete necessarily against Peugeot or Audi now, I guess. So I like it here, and of course, my a passion of mine has been IndyCar since I was 7 years old and got into this. So I'm pretty content doing the American style of racing. I've never been to Europe to race, but I sure would like to go visit and try it sometime.
We'll go Joe and then Pat.
Joe Jennings, RacingNation.com. For each of the other 4 drivers, John, Ozz, and Justin, I would like to hear your thoughts about what this victory means to you and if you had any particular challenges over the course of the 24 hours.
I think AJ said it all, didn't he?
Yeah.
There's not much else to say.
What about your broken back? It was actually, the difference is Justin is now an inch shorter. So that actually, after his broken back last year, so that actually made the car a lot more comfortable. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it did seem to fit better. So I was worried about you in those last few laps where you might be cramping up, stretching for those pedals. But yeah, I think we all managed to compromise enough to get by, between all 4 of us and being comfortable and being able to push to the limit every single lap, because this was a tough race. I know we were up here last night saying that maybe there's a little bit left, but the next time I got in the car, it was flat out. We gave it everything, every lap, every opportunity, and it's just the way it had to be to compete with Starworks. They were very competitive today, so. I'm really pleased for Mike, the whole team, Ford. They've done a fantastic job of just working hard, making sure that we've got all the bases covered, and I think, like Michael McDowell said, give us the reliability. So, with 3 Fords, 3 Rileys on the podium, I think that says it all.
Yeah, it means a lot to me too, and dealing with Mike since 2006, I think it was 2006.
Yep.
He's a great guy to deal with on a business level, personal level, and as a race team owner. He's a straight shooter. He wears his emotions on his sleeve, which I like. There's no second guessing. And he says what he says, and he means what he says, and I really like that. And he's taken this team a long way since I first started with this team. He wants to do things right, and he wants to win. He's very competitive, and I really love that. And he puts pressure on me too, which I really like. I've got to be fast, so he's not going to let me stay in the car much. So I got to really work on it. And I like it that way. I don't want to just go out there and drive laps for the hell of it. And these guys here, I feel really lucky to drive with these guys, AJ, Justin, and Ozz, who I've known for a while. I've known some of these guys for a little while. But these guys are great people. They're fantastic drivers, some of the best in the world. And I learn a lot from them. I get to look at their data and on their race car and see what all their speed secrets are. And they're free to share it. And it's been a really great experience. And Ozz has been a great co-driver for the last few years and a great coach. And we're not at the racetrack. We're at the go-kart track, and he's showing me things there. And we work really hard at it. I take it really seriously, and I appreciate the seriousness that he takes it.
Pat Jennings, motorsport.com. Mike, this question is for you. You've come close here a couple of other times. You've run pretty well here. What does this win mean to you?
It's everything that I've worked for. I mean, we finished second with the same group, except Mark Patterson was sitting where John Pew is. Same group, finished second, about a lap down to the Ganassi 01 car. And I just remember being so let down, kind of like Ryan DL was just describing to you guys. It's a definite letdown, but I feel like we deserved it, to be honest. I think we've worked hard. I don't make any excuses for that. We've paid our dues for sure, and I hope it can take us to new cool places in Daytona Prototype in the coming years.
It's a cool way to start the year, man. A very cool way to start the year. You know, being with Mike for such a long time, what makes it special is that he wants to win as bad as I do, and it's just so cool also to have, you know, a fiery AJ, you know, with a very calm and fast Wilson, and you know, and John Pew and the team. I think we had a dream team this year.